All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating educational model coming out of Islamabad, Pakistan, that might just hold the blueprint for the future of tech education. We're looking at how the National University of Technology, or NUTECH, is pioneering this wild blend of artificial intelligence, sustainability, and complete human development. Because, as we're all quickly learning in today's world, it's really not just about churning out coders in a basement anymore. It's about building a fully holistic, highly capable tech ecosystem. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to speed through rethinking modern tech education, shaping character, bridging theory with practice, innovating for massive issues like climate change, and finally, empowering future entrepreneurs. Let's get into it. First up, rethinking modern tech education, going way beyond traditional engineering. We have to establish right out of the gate that a true tech institution has to do so much more than just hand out textbooks if it actually wants to prep students for reality. I love this sentiment from Director Awesome at the Office of Student Affairs. He points out that while Gen Z is intensely focused on acquiring hard skills, graduation holds absolutely zero meaning if you lie or cheat. Think about that for a second. They want professionals with built-in character, not just a flashy GPA. It's a pretty bold stance in an era where the tech industry so often prioritizes speed and disruption over basic integrity. Which brings us to part two, shaping character and community, basically building the human element. So how exactly do you teach character on a campus full of hyper-competitive engineering students? Well, they do it actively through 14 different super vibrant student societies. Instead of keeping departments completely siloed off from each other, engineering and IT students are actually forced to mix and collaborate. Whether they're out building soft skills in the community service club or debating modern ethics in the character building society, they are continuously developing a moral compass right alongside their technical chops. And honestly, this is the exact kind of cross-disciplinary teamwork the modern tech industry is begging for right now. And this part is absolutely crucial. They deeply recognize that STEM courses are notoriously brutal and often incredibly isolating. By championing a student-led mental health and well-being society, they've made emotional support a prerequisite for academic success, not just an afterthought. They've got dedicated counselors ensuring that nobody has to handle that exhausting course load entirely alone. Moving right along to part three, bridging theory and practice. This is where they completely redefine how skill development is delivered. Normally, you go to a university, you learn the underlying theory in some giant lecture hall, and you just sort of cross your fingers and hope an employer is willing to train you on the actual equipment later. This model completely flips that script. They treat practical experience like a massive course multiplier. You don't just study a concept on a whiteboard. You have to physically build it and execute it before you ever leave the campus. In fact, an astounding 80% of their skill and development curriculum is strictly practical and industry-based. Why? Because that's what companies actually want. Employers simply do not have the time or money to train graduates from scratch anymore. The theoretical foundation makes up that remaining 20%, just to make sure you understand the why, but the absolute lion's share of your time is dedicated entirely to mastering the how. And the sheer diversity of what they offer is wild. You have your expected courses, of course, like advanced IT spanning cloud computing and the Internet of Things, but right alongside the AI labs, they're heavily invested in teaching fashion design, hospitality, and foreign languages. They aren't just equipping students with high-tech capabilities, they are giving them practical, lifetime abilities that translate anywhere. Take the Fashion Design Lab, for example. Students aren't just sketching static ideas on paper. They input digital designs into a computer, program the parameters, and then state-of-the-art machinery automatically executes the intricate embroidery. They walk away actually knowing how to operate advanced automated fashion tech. It's a seamless blend of software programming and tangible, real-world manufacturing. They even have a fully functional hospitality lab, where students learn the exact rigorous procedures for making a bed to professional 5-star hotel standards. Now, sure, a strict bed-making class might sound like every parent's absolute dream for their teenager, but mastering comfort and cleanliness is a highly employable global skill that forms the backbone of a massive international industry. Okay, part four, innovating for climate change. This is all about scaling up from those micro skills to tackle massive global challenges on a local level, focusing on Pakistan's extreme environmental vulnerability. It forces us to ask a difficult but really necessary question. How can a tech university provide tangible solutions to an existential threat like climate change? It's super easy to hold a symposium and talk about the environment.
it is so much harder to actually engineer a localized, effective response.
To really grasp the deep urgency here, wrap your head around this staggering reality. Pakistan contributes less than a single % to global carbon emissions. Yet, because it's sandwiched between major river systems and rapidly melting northern glaciers, it sits squarely in the top 10 most affected countries worldwide. They are taking the brutal brunt of a crisis they barely even contributed to. So, they are fighting back. The university launched a heavily equipped European Union-funded Center of Excellence right on campus. They're aggressively deploying drones, high-tech wildlife cameras, advanced weather stations, and localized air quality monitors to study everything from dangerous glacier melts to hyperlocal pollen allergies. Pushing even further, they launched the country's very first master's program in climate change and environmental informatics, which is basically turning pure data into actionable environmental policy.
But importantly, this isn't just top-down academic research. The Campus Green Youth Movement actively collaborates with national groups like the disaster management authorities. Instead of just debating the global water crisis in a classroom, these students are out there teaching youth granular, daily habits for water conservation, right down to minimizing waste in their own dorms. They take massive global awareness and shrink it into actionable daily steps. Which leads us to our final section, Part 5, Empowering Future Entrepreneurs, from ideas to ventures. Because really, what is the next logical step once you have these ethically grounded, practically skilled students who understand global crises?
You turn them into independent business leaders. Enter the National Engineering Incubation Center, or NEIC. In just a single year, this dedicated hub successfully onboarded 2 entire cohorts of student startups. They provide that critical one-on-one mentorship, intensive training, and those highly coveted investor connections you absolutely need to turn a clever idea into a highly profitable venture.
And we aren't just talking hypotheticals here. A student startup called Ocarus recently took home the Best Startup Award for the entire Twin Cities region. Ventures from their second cohort, like Bovine Sense and HandyHub, are showing immense market promise. These are real, functioning, award-winning companies born directly out of this classroom ecosystem. And here's a massive point. The Incubation Center makes a strategic push to support female-led ventures, like Agenzo. They understand deeply that a modern tech education, actually scratch that, the entire modern tech economy absolutely must be inclusive to be effective. By backing women in tech entrepreneurship, they are tapping into an incredible pool of localized talent and innovation.
So, to pull this all together, NUTECH is proving that a modern university shouldn't just be a place to sit quietly and memorize theory. By merging state-of-the-art AI with an aggressive 80% practical approach and underpinning it all with an uncompromising focus on human ethics, they've built a real holistic laboratory for solving the world's actual problems.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really chew on. As AI and automation inevitably take over the repetitive technical tasks of tomorrow, is the true future of education found exactly in this balance? A perfect equilibrium between high-tech capability and fundamental human integrity? Think about it. Thanks for hanging out and learning with us today.